I pity anybody in a situation of, financial instability, especially in this economy. You don't know what's going to happen with the job market. And so for you to even jeopardize that at all and recognize you jeopardize that for yourself and now you're financially worse or off for it, that's tough. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a very interesting clip for you guys, and it's by the man Antoine Daniels, who basically reacted to this person saying they got fired from their position in their church, and you wouldn't believe the weird situation they put themselves in. And so let's look into it.
Fired from my worship director position at a church a couple of months ago, and in that time I've had quite a bit of time to think about how I'm feeling about everything, to think about how everything went down.
So he's a worship leader. He used to be a worship leader. For those who don't know what a worship leader is, the worship, the music, the prayer, the theme, somebody has to navigate that. He's sort of like a conductor, or yeah. Like think of that guy who has a little stick in front of all the musicians, and he is setting. And even when those guys know the song themselves, this person is navigating the orchestra of sound and making sure everybody does their positions very well. And so this is what a worship leader does. Somebody who pours their heart and soul into this from the center of it. And so naturally, what the question boggles the mind, wait, why was he fired? That we need that guy.
I realized that, yeah, I should have been fired, and I know that.
He apparently agrees with their decision.
I was writing articles openly about my disbelief in God and about how much I hated modern Christianity and how the church was just a business and it was just a sales call pitching Jesus at the end of every.
So that's interesting. So he agrees with the decision to fire him because apparently he was writing articles behind their backs. And these articles contained his grievances with church. Some of them consisting of just things he personally disagrees with. He doesn't believe in God. So he's an atheist, or at least, like assuming he's an atheist now. Probably agnostic, you never know. And apparently, like, he feels it's a business. Now, I can relate to that. The idea of basically, like, it's all about the money with these people. And to be fair, some communities do give off that a bit more than others. And admittedly, it's not like you want everything to be about just God, but you are dealing with the lives of people. And so I'm not surprised finances get mentioned, and even people are considering that as an important part of any religion. You're most likely more than often, I would say, dealing with poor people. So yes, like, being concerned about finances has to be a part of the conversation. Sister Susie down the street, has a hole in her roof. Her plumbing doesn't work. Who's gonna pay for that? Somebody like somebody down here could use a bit of finances because they're about to they're 3 months behind on rent. Who can help them with that? I think the church has historically been very involved in the lives of people, even in that way, not just a spiritual sense. And so, yeah, like, sometimes it can be a little business related, but nevertheless, I digress. Let's see his resounding conclusion, because he agrees, but he has some grievances.
Service, and yeah, I can see how that would offend some people who are heavy devout Christians, but I stand by that.
He can relate, but he's doubling down.
And I think about how I was fired. I think about how I was pulled into a room by the pastor and 2 deacons, how they told me there was something wrong with me, how they told me I needed help, how they kicked me out, how they didn't give me any severance, even though that was my only job and they knew that.
You can't bring that up. Cause how much, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I get where he's coming from. Like, his whole life probably just got upended because his stable form of income got cooked with a fiery discussion. The pastor's mad at you, fussing at you. Everybody's looking at you like you a two-faced person. It's like, can you not understand that, appearing in church, talking to people, being social, smiles, But behind the scenes, just talking bad about the very place that you work at, like what is that? What gives? Like, you don't think, like, you may think it's business, but you're dealing with people. Like, any organization is built of individuals that are, at the very least, dedicated to what they do. So I'm like, you may feel okay, well, I'm only doing something small, but it's like, I ain't even feel like, I wouldn't trust you. I want, like after this video, I want to stay away from you, because it's like, apparently when you have disagreements with things and working with people, you just post about them on social media. Like make like, instead of just talking to people about it, because maybe there could have been some a conclusion reached, or some sort of agreement made despite his grievances. I've seen with my own two eyes. Okay, you're not the worship leader no more because you're an atheist. But maybe, you can work in keeping our files, our accountant. Maybe you could be our treasurer. Maybe you could be our, like, the guard, maybe cutting grass. The point is, you don't have to lose your job because you lost your faith. No, people care about you. They still care about you. So we can still take care of you. But not like this. Not like this.
And it's just like, wow, you guys are kind of assholes. And I think that kind of sums up church for me at this point. It's just kind of a group of assholes who are in a
Get
bubble.
a load of this guy.
And if you're in that bubble and you stick to the rules of that bubble, they will love you unconditionally. However, if you at all deviate or you do anything they don't like, well, f*** you.
So let me get this straight, and I just want to make sure that I summarize this correctly.
Mhm.
He's saying there's no hate like Christian love.
Basically.
While at the same time, throwing hate and smut and everything negative that you basically can on your employer, and you basically going online, because let's look at it from a couple different lenses. Let's look at it from the Christianity lens, because I largely believe that people put more on Christians than they would even hold themselves accountable for.
That's true, by the way. But admittedly, and this is the only reason I'm jumping in right now, I tend to somewhat be okay with people doing this. I don't like it. It's not a positive thing for people to disrespect me and try to put things on me without ever knowing me, because I have the label as Christian. Like, assume motives about me, assume things. But their backlash in some ways remind me that I do gotta step up and be a bit more above serviceable behavior. One of the things that Jesus said in the scriptures was, "I've coming for a spotless bride," or like something, a bride without spot. And this means someone who, like, this means he's looking for a collective community that has taken him seriously and is not like is without sin, in that sense of just being pure of heart and pure of intention and pure of conduct. And so naturally, it's unfair, often hypocritical, but I tolerate it. It's like coffee without it's like coffee without sugar and no creamer. Trust me, that's the only way I love my coffee. And yet I'll take that pure black cup and I'll drink it, and I'm like, it's bitter, but I'll internalize it as positive because I want to do better. I want to challenge their assertions. I want to overcome them. I want to say, no, you're wrong, because I want to be the good example. And so that's why I will take all this horrible backlash, many of it unfounded, and say, you know what? I'll listen, and I'll do my best within my ideology to be above and beyond in goodness, that you can't say many of these things about me. But either way, yeah, let's keep going.
So, but we also gonna look at it from an employer's perspective, right?
All right.
I see people get fired off of this app all the time.
Yeah.
And the reason that I see them get fired is because they break the rules as far as what a representation of where their employer and what their employer stands for, especially when it comes to the social media policy. They break the rules, and then they get mad at the employer because they come online and say wild stuff and basically disrespect the employer or is a bad representation of what that employer wants to put out to the world and the product that they're putting out. And then they get fired, and so they go off and they say it's something wrong with the employer, right?
Crazy.
First thing you see inside of the comments is a bunch of people saying, "Oh my God, you need to get an employer lawyer and sue and all of that." And that's what's wrong with this country, is because we want freedom of speech, we want no censorship, but we don't want any consequences that come along with it.
That was
based. Side note, what in the world is that's very dystopian. You lose your income, and the first thing you do isn't, okay, I need to download Indeed, I need to download LinkedIn, I need to look around and see who's hiring. No, the first thing you do is, let me make a TikTok about how I got fired. What is wrong with these people, bro? Like, oh my God, that's the most craziest thing I ever heard. Because I mean, like, I get it. Like, I 100% get, like, how destabilizing it is, and you want people to know about it. But priorities. Either way, what do I think? I think the church did exactly what they should have. I mean, the text very clearly gives us the inclinations to be watchful, because there are individuals that have bad intentions, and they shouldn't stay where they are. They should be avoided. You see, in Romans chapter 16, verses 17 to 18, Paul says this: "I appeal to you, brothers, to watch out for those who cause divisions and create obstacles contrary to the doctrine that you have been taught." His diagnosis? Avoid them. For such persons do not serve our Lord Christ, but their own appetites, and by smooth talk and flattery deceive the hearts of the naive. You see, he wants to sell a story, despite deserving to be fired, according to him. So he knows he did wrong. He knows he did those people wrong. He wants to deceive people into being sympathetic toward him, despite his own foolishness ending him up where he is. And what does he care about? Oh, they knew I only had this job. They only knew this was my only place of income. But you knew that too. Why didn't you work with those people? Again, like Christians are, I think, extremely forgiving and extremely charitable to those in less fortunate circumstances. We want to help. You probably would have not been a worship leader anymore. That's just flat out. You would have, you could not have stayed in that position. But again, file keeper, treasury holder, we can create a position for you in the church. Something. Window washer. I don't know, duster. Something. Because we don't want you on the street. But anyways, I digress. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. You see, when you're part of an identity, what you do is connected to them because they're endorsing you. And so of course they cannot keep you here. These unfruitful works of darkness, you just writing little diss articles about the faith. No, you can't be the worship leader anymore. That's a scandal waiting to happen. And if you're this far along where you're just disrespecting the religion amongst those who practice it, you got to go. You've been exposed. Now then, I think it's very clear also that 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 makes it painstakingly clear that the situation that church was in could not keep, it could not keep going. You come in on Sunday, worship, and lead the worship, and every other day of the week you just posting articles every now and then. No, the moment they found out, you were cooked. You see, in this verse it says this: don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness, or what fellowship has light with darkness? Paul here is making it painstakingly clear we cannot compromise ourselves given the people we want to work with. And that begs the question, why would you want to work with certain people if you got to compromise? So no, we can't compromise. We're not compromising Christ, so therefore this person has to be let go. Which brings me to, I think, the real wisdom that should be taken away with a video like this. Don't bully him, don't get mad at him, pray for him, because even though he betrayed those people, he betrayed the trust of those people, he didn't talk to those people about his circumstances and the circumstance of his own faith. There is a lesson to be taken here. You see, I take this from the book of Proverbs. This is chapter 6 verses 30 to 31. It says, People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his own appetite when he is hungry. So people generally will sympathize with your circumstances. They don't despise somebody who does something wrong if it is for the simple reason of just trying to feed themselves. You know, we do not despise the poor. And yet, verse 31, if he is caught, he will pay sevenfold. He will give all the goods of his house. When somebody finds out that you're doing something devious, they're gonna treat you a bit differently. Again, like people don't despise the intentions of what you're doing, but let's just say when they find out you're doing it to them, they're gonna basically treat you a different way. And so I do think we need to examine the behavior. There are better ways that could have happened. There are better ways that you could have addressed your gripes with Christianity, and you could have worked with those people, but you chose not to do so. So when they found out, they were not happy. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think he had a point, you know, where Christianity is full of a-holes? Or do you think no, you definitely went about this wrong, and you know that, and that's why you deserve no sympathy. If anything, you deserve prayer, because I hate that the situation happened the way it is, but your actions led to it, so what can we do? Either way, God bless and stay blessed. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your evening, day, and night. Whenever you watch this video, take care.